Tonight on Hip Star Tonight, now available on iTunes. The original 1-800-NEED-A-GIMMICK.com. Please send your contributions to the Heart and Soul Foundation. It is tonight on Hip Star Tonight.
But I'm a guest. All right.
Have you ever wondered, maybe when you get those really big zits, like the thick ones where you can see there's layers underneath, do you ever worry that maybe when you were sleeping the night before, a spider bit you on the face, and if you pop that zit, you're just going to release a bunch of eggs and prematurely hatch a bunch of spiders that are going to pop out of your face? No? You never considered that today? Tonight on Start Tonight, Tuesday, May 9th, 2017. Feels nice for a two for Tuesday morning. A twofer.
Yeah,
twofer.
I just cut in. Sorry,
no,
I felt the need to cut in.
So you got to be a surprise guest sometimes. Sometimes you got to cut in right away. Hey, man, it depends.
Yeah, like yesterday, I didn't cut in quite early enough, so I didn't get as much spotlight as what I should have during the 15 minutes.
And for the record, breaking the fourth wall, Jay's only bringing that up because I just complained about it, so he feels the need to, just bring it out there, and we don't hide, I guess,
No.
For people that work each other, we don't have anything to hide, so that's a good thing. I'm not like, Jay, have you Googled yourself?
No.
I Googled my wrestling name recently, and I thought it was going to be the same old, like some fucking YouTube clips that I've seen before. I did it to you, and your first thing was a Crossfire write-up, which is like the most stereotypical, written by a 40-year-old white man with no journalism diploma. Just typical shit, and like you'd read it in the Welland Tribune kind of shit, like. But that's all you had. That and your Facebook profile and that. And then I noticed there's this website that I'm on. It's a internet wrestling database, cagematch.net or something. Oh. I don't like how they would call it Cage Match because I bet you like more than 60% of their roster's never been in a cage match. So whatever. I got this. And this is updated. I want to know who the fuck wrote this, really. So Zach Atticus, promotion, freelancer, which is funny. Age, 30 years. I'm 30 years old, apparently, which is, worries me. Debut, 2004, which for being generous, gave me 13 years on that. Trainer, Derek Wild. Nicknames, Wonder Boy or the Hip Star. And trademark holds the Gangsta Kick or the Let Me Clear My Throat. Oh, fuck. That was me when I was 14, so we got, like, an updated, but yet, like, shit. And this write-up is funny. It says, in Zach Atticus' defense, he actually has a pretty decent understanding of ring psychology and isn't a terrible worker. The main problem is that, aside from minor title victories, which Cage Match doesn't deem verifiable... he's not done much of record despite wrestling for over a decade. Though a good worker, his physique comes from being skinny and is only proven to be booked as the Squash Bowl mid-card champion at the indie level. So thanks for writing that up. I think my ex-wife wrote that one.
Nobody likes you.
I guess not.
In all the years I've done commentary over your matches, I didn't realize that you used the gangster kick. Is that when you're finishing?
That was like when I was 14, and I thought I was going to be the Mighty Z that came out to DJ Cool's Let Me Clear My Throat. I did that once against fucking Mark Mandrake and Tommy Mandrake. Like, that was
somebody that followed your Niagara career, that's for sure.
For sure. I'm thinking it's either Robbie or Michael Colin, one of those guys I'm thinking, most likely. Anybody with the internet over in Niagara, I guess. Yeah, well, it also could have been Fat Les who died. Yeah, it could have been. But it's updated. Like, he thinks I'm 30 years old now, so good for him. Jay, I'm sorry that... I just wish you were on this website. I think it's a little discriminatory for you not being, because you've been in the business as long as I... and I don't know if Chris White can make the list. Why isn't Infamous Jay Moore?
I don't really like being on those websites because if you're going to lump me in with just a bunch of jabronis and just, put like your own facts and your own like everybody wants to be a writer in the wrestling business. Everybody feels the need to
have a job where you don't actually break
even graduate anything, not a high school, not a fucking but everybody's got to have the facts on where they
what a dream
got to
job,
have their
though.
thoughts on pro wrestling and their facts and illustrate them and put them out on a website when they really don't know anything about what the fuck they're talking about.
Right?
It bothers me. I can't stand Hipstar. I'm sorry to take up so much time, but I can't stand a fucking website journalist from the wrestling business. I'm talking all the way to the higher ups. I'm talking to Greg Oliver's, Dave Meltzer's. I can't stand any of those guys.
That's of our area. But you know what, man? Like, the wrestling journalist is becoming so common now. In the UK especially. The UK, who acts like their sense of humor is more sophisticated, yet they watch American entertainment. So I don't figure that one out. But all these fucking online YouTube wrestling reporters, and it's great. It's cool to see the support, but I really hate that I'm getting all these fucking reporters from guys who've never physically experienced wrestling. Okay? And you say, like, oh, that doesn't have to be. Watch the NBA, the NHL, the NFL.
Right.
All those fucking former players are getting jobs now because they know the business. They know how to play the sport because they've done it for years. And that's what wrestling needs to be. But the fact that I turn on Sports Network or Sports Channel, whatever's down the street here, I don't even know. They changed buildings. And I see a former referee, but hanging on with a bunch of fucking kids that just have watched wrestling since they were young, and that's their story. Oh, I have some wrestling friends, but you don't experience
I used to wonder about, like, it used to kind of make me laugh. Like, I know I'm going to get a little bit of heat for saying this, but
you always do.
Gordo, the Wizard of Id, used to be a writer.
Yeah.
And, like, I used to see, like, okay, I would get these articles written about me, and it was like signed Gordo, the Wizard of Id, and his wife took the photos.
Yeah.
And then when I finally met the Wizard of Id,
you're like
I was just, it's like, what does the Wizard of Id even mean?
Exactly.
Like, this guy's a writer.
What an absurd name for wrestling. It's like you remember the Wizard? No, you're too young to remember the Wizard, but he was a big influence of mine, and God. And this is the thing. The one thing about Gordo is that when he came in, he acted like he was always there. Like, I've been in wrestling, like, but in another area out east for years. You might have never heard of me, but I don't know. I feel like he wasn't being honest. I feel like he was...
Well, no, he wasn't. Prescience Antritius Jr. does the same thing where he claims he was a writer. Everybody starts out east, I can tell you that.
Yeah.
Anybody that hasn't made it, they've started out east somewhere. But the
Homeless
Wizard
Bob
used to come into the shows, if you remember, at the Social Club.
Yeah. Yes, he
with a notepad.
Yeah.
And like he would take his shit serious. He would sit ringside, and I would feel a little uncomfortable. Like, I'm trying. Like, most writers aren't going to sit there and jot notes the entire match.
Yeah, and people use their MacBooks.
I mean,
so.
There's a couple key points, but like he took his shit serious. Like, you don't see Greg Oliver with a notepad when he's at Smash or anything, and like Wizard would.
How's he going to remember it all?
And his wife would just freely, go to the ring and start snapping photos, like no media
butts.
pass, no.
She touched a lot of young boy butts. She really liked the underage butts, and that was her thing. And she got a lot of picture of my butt when I was 15, and I just got to say that's kind of questionable. The fact that I have all these photos of you up in there, That's the thing, though. You say that it's unprofessional for them to be bringing a pad and jotting down notes, but how are you supposed to show you are a journalist if you don't have a pad and you're not taking notes? You know what I mean? If you are a wrestling journalist, you've done it for over 10 years, you've probably seen so much wrestling. How are you going to fucking remember everything? And if you do, there's something wrong with that.
You could be right.
Right? You have to take notes, because otherwise, like...
New Vision Pro Wrestling, John Edwards used to work for the Well End paper out there, and he used to interview all the boys to the point where he actually moved to Collingwood and booked all the boys and started his own promotion and didn't bug me. So you got to watch these journalists. Like, a little bit, they're kind of like backstabbing creatures who just start up their own promotions and get all their information from you.
I'm glad you said that.
And give you zero credit in the end.
It makes me wonder, is that why... It makes me think that when you have something that seems like it's good, for the area and I'm going to write about you, I still get kind of suspicious because I feel like you want something else out of wrestling, some of the spotlight as well. And that's kind of what Id did, what Greg Oliver did. They wanted to be a manager or a promoter eventually, and it's like, well, like, I mean, so you mean to tell me that when I first met you, your front was just a front, and you were fronting with it, and I can't trust you now.
Absolutely.
I just don't know. I feels like everybody wants a piece of the pie, and once everybody gets in, then there's no fans left, right? There's nobody watching.
Is totally 100% in business for themselves. A lot of these people don't want to pay dues. They don't want to learn the hard way how to get into wrestling.
Yeah, man.
But, Hipstar, there's a market for that, too, and that's why available now at 1-800-NEED-A-GIMMICK, the original 1-800-NEED-A-GIMMICK.com. We have the double DVD set of Hutch Henry's How to Hijack a Wrestling Show.
He knows.
Hutch will take you step by step on a 2-disc DVD narrated by Hutch and hosted by Hutch on how to actually hijack an entire wrestling show. Like, if you're not in the wrestling business and you can't get a spot on a show, you could take the entire show. And Hutch has a special way of doing that can only be addressed on these two CDs. From BCW over to the Rock Pile, over to Luchatio, Vampiro. Hutch walks you through the step-by-step system of how to hijack somebody else's wrestling show and take the money for yourself and run. So there is a market for these things, and if you're interested in being a booker or promoter, this is for you. The Hutch Henry's How to Hijack a Wrestling Show double DVD set, available at 1-800-NEED-A-GIMMICK, the original 1-800-NEED-A-GIMMICK.com.
Well, I hijacked a wrestling show, I'm sitting on a log and doing it no. I want the boys, I want to write, but I want to promote and be a manager. I want some limelight, I want attention, I want some spotlight. Also, I'd like to say, excited today, this was dropped, and exciting news that I'd like to congratulate Ronnie Gaff, who is now running his own catering system service for the shows. So if you want to hire him now, you can. He'll bring in some food for you guys, and this great indie wrestling catering service. I think he can also cater for vegetarians or vegans if you're into that. Hopefully, I mean that's what the world's running like now. So hopefully you've kept up to date.
It's weird because Ronnie messaged me earlier today at 76*76. Hey guys, love the show. I heard you were talking about me over on Sirius Satellite Radio. Are we on Sirius Satellite?
I don't know. Yeah, I'm not getting money off it either way.
Just wondering what the channel is. If you can call me or text me back at 1-416-870-2014. That's 1-416-870-2014. And let me know what channel you were talking about me on. Thanks, guys. That's from Ronnie Gaff.
He's got to keep track. He keeps a little almanac, a little library of every time that he made a break in the wrestling business. And
he was a driver.
He was a driver. He's got stories. Got
he
some
let
boys.
Owen Hart sleep at his house, so, I mean, that's important.
That's the thing, though. A lot of the legends know him by name, but I can tell by their body language that, like, say, for instance, like Bruno or Nikolai, right? They're definitely trying to turn away from him. They see him, and it's like, oh, nice to see you, Ronnie. But they're kind of like out the door already, trying to, I'm warming up.
I think I've told this story on air before that was supposed to be kayfabe, but it was like when Mick Foley, his best friend, kicked him out of the locker room in Collingwood. Because he doesn't want Ronnie hanging around when he's trying to get changed. And, I think like Mick even says out there, like, he apologized to the crew that, sorry I had to kick Ronnie out of the locker room, but I just don't feel like he belongs back here.
Exactly.
So, and that was from Nick, who's apparently his buddy, but I don't think Ronnie has buddies. I think like Ronnie's not understanding that Owen Hart just needed a place to sleep.
Wow.
He's like Mick just needed a ride. These guys are cheap.
Buddies are guys that need favors. There's a quote and a t-shirt you can get now on the website. I'm not going to plug hipstar.ca because I can't pay the bills and that won't be up until Monday. But re-imaging and renews. And I got a whole new image that's going to be successful, and I hope you buy into it because it's going to be a great ride. Hope you are ready. Jay, I'd like to say that I hope you're healthy and you got that natural energy because you seem like you're a little sluggish. But if you drink your water, believe in yourself, and just stick to your own morals, then you'll have a great today. Tonight on Hip Start Tonight.
You know, Zach, it's been a good run, but I mean, at some point you got to put her out.
From your eyes.